How do you plan to retire from your lawn care and landscape company? Stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to give you the 3 ways that I plan to make a retirement out of my business. Hey everyone, I'm Jacob Godar, and my channel helps contractors deliver and clients experience a luxurious everyday life through property transformations. Today, we are talking about how to retire from being a business owner, whether that be a solo business owner or a large business owner. This pertains to all, and almost all my points pertain to all. So I want to hit on these, and if you think there's some awesome value in this and you're wanting to know how you can and will retire from your business someday, give this video a like and hit subscribe. Leave it in the comments that you subscribed. I personally want to thank each and every one of you. So let's get right into it. There is a lot going on with how do I retire? How do I put money back? What vehicle do I use to grow my wealth, to grow my money, especially when I'm a business owner? I'm spending every dime just to keep this thing rolling. Has that ever felt like what's going through your head? If it has, leave that in the comments. I want to know because I've been there with you. And my 3 biggest points on what I want to do and what I am doing to retire is 1, real estate. So I really like rental properties. I'm not super big on fix and flip because it just takes so much energy. I'm actually in the middle of one of those right now. But this year, me and a couple partners have purchased our first rental property. We now have a flip house. I have 2 rental properties that I plan to acquire that are personal projects, not with my partners on that. So that's one focus of building and working on a retirement, because I love rental property if it's in a good neighborhood, whether it be kind of multi-door, single family. If it's in a good neighborhood in an area that is appreciating, you look to the value of the house to potentially go up over time and to have tenants pay off the asset, plus have a cash flow that can come back and keep banking in this own little business of yours. Now, I don't love that if not structured right and if there's not enough cash flow in it, you might have to be really hands-on. So there's a lot more moving pieces to it. I mean, getting a team of people that can help you fix the stuff cost effectively. So if something breaks and it's the middle of the night, that you can have someone out there to fix it. There's a bunch of little moving pieces, but just like anything, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, we started these businesses to solve problems, and just like that model has some of its own burden to it, and people look at it as in a lot of work. Well, it can be done where you do it all on your own, or you can farm a lot of the stuff out and still have some cash flow and still be paying off that asset, so you're building assets over time. So real estate is a huge one. I really, really love real estate. Now, number 2 is the one that I am probably personally most heavily invested into, and that is the stock market. This year, and I've always read and looked into stocks, but this year I made the biggest push on getting involved in the stock market that I've ever have. And I've done a lot of my due diligence, read several books to educate myself far beyond what I already knew. I'd already had a lot of education, Tony Robbins books, other stock videos, things I've done and I've studied, but I really dug in and really spent some time critiquing that this year and getting heavily invested. Now, with the stock market, there's so many different things. Like one great option, if you're like working for us, we just started a 401k for our team that we are going to contribute 3.5% to. So that's a great tool for the team to start working on their retirement. But as a person, an individual, maybe self-directing your own finances, if you're willing to give stocks the time, there's so much you can do with it. So right now I've just got an individual brokerage account that's self-directed. It's not a Roth IRA, it's nothing like that. It's just a normal taxable account. And it's been awesome because that I've been able to grow the money I put in there. And then as a second effect of all of this is that money I've put into this account, now I can borrow against it on a thing called using margin. And basically that's a loan against your brokerage account. And in our situation, which normally maybe that would be a little risky, I love it because in the winter, or if we buy an asset, we have a line of credit. So we can go out, we can buy it, we can put it on a line of credit, and it makes it where we have a lot of ability to do whatever we want, even if we don't have the cash to do it right now, but it's something we need. Well, what I've done is I have built up the brokerage account to where it is almost equal to the line of credit in what it can provide. Now, me as an individual, when I borrow money against my own brokerage account, it comes at a really, really low interest rate. And now all I have to do is have the business pay me back what my typical line of credit is. And so now I'm invested in the stock market. I have a brokerage account that I can borrow against. When I borrow against it for 2% and I pay back like my normal line of credit at 5%, now my money is growing in the stock market. And every time my company borrows money from the money, the company funds additional money and grows. And so basically the loan out against my brokerage account is another investment that's going to pay an additional 3% on the money going back in. So it is just a big spinning wheel of spooling up personal investments, because as an individual, as the business owner, the more financially stout your whole portfolio becomes, the more secure and the better decisions you will make, because you're not so frantically doing things and you're not so worried about cash all the time. And to answer the question, what happens if the value of my brokerage account drops in half? Because I'm heavily invested in stocks in a huge, like, volatile time. Everybody thinks 2021 is the bubble, it's gonna crash. Whatever, for years and years and years, over time the stock market has rose, and every time it's crashed and everybody thought the world was over, it's came back. So if you think the US is going to grow, get bigger and stronger in the future, if you got any faith in our country, then the stock market's good. But stocks are volatile, and I could lose 30 or 50% of all my money. So if there's 100 grand, it could go to 50 grand overnight. Well, if that happens, it could cause a call on the loan I've taken against my brokerage. But so the double insurance I have of that is I've still got my plain old line of credit they could pull the money from and do what we were already doing. So basically, I've used stocks as a vehicle to personally invest, to help reinvest into my company. And then because I've reinvested into my company, it reinvests into my personal portfolio. And then so that creates just a spooling wheel of growth in the stock market while allowing readily available cash to our business to use at the drop of a dime. And number 3 is my favorite, and that kind of goes over some of this, goes over a little bit of it. This might not be a point that works for all solo technicians, but building businesses that continue to work with less and less input from the owner. You know, me as a retirement, I always want to be involved in some sort of business. I always want to have my hands in something, because helping people, because seeing people have jobs because of our company really, really drives me. Being able to give back to the community really, really drives me. So I am intentionally creating companies that are taking less and less of my time, so I, without as much activity, could operate more things. And these companies will continue to go on into my retirement, where now I'm eventually just looking over financials, watching things, making sure I'm making the right investments in the company, that it's progressing at the pace it should, and I will still draw pay off of those as well. So those are my 3 techniques for retirement. They are interesting techniques that I've piled up over time on what I wanted to pursue and go after the fastest. Like I said, the stock market's been really great. It's an interesting ride. I did get in at the bottom and I've done really well, but I'll take a huge hit because the market's going to take a major dump sometime again. There's always corrections, there's always recessions, there's always all of these things. So this video is inspired by Turf Pros Jonathan, him talking about retirement, and it's something that you got to be thinking about it. I said it in the beginning, you have to be thinking about putting money in these other vehicles and getting it working for you. You can't spend every dime in your business. That's why it's important to know your numbers, know your profit, and to make a profitable company. Everyone, I hope you liked the video. Leave it in the comments below what you're doing to retire, and then check out these 2 videos in the end screen. See ya.